It is Friday, May 22nd, 2026, and this is The High Road, Logistics and Leadership. I'm Buck Reynolds, and I've got more miles in reverse than most have in drive.
This is Jules Sterling.
I'm Dan Miller.
And I'm Elena Rossi. We have a great show for you today.
Oh, glad you're all here. Yesterday was a bit of a whirlwind, wasn't it? We were talking about that Turnberry Pact over in the EU, that 15% tariff cap. And then the Strait of Hormuz went sideways, with Brent hitting 106 a barrel.
And let us not forget the Fontaine trailer recall. Do not drive is a phrase that should haunt every fleet manager's sleep.
Look, it's a heavy week, but today is where the rubber actually meets the road on policy and tech. We've got diesel at $5.60 and a $580 billion bill sitting on the table in D.C.
It's busy, right? Some might say action-packed. Let's dive in.
Actually, I'll start us off with the legislative front, because this is, it's the foundation for the next 5 years. The House T&I Committee just finished the markup on the Build America 250 Act, H.R. 8870.
$580 billion, Elena? Here is the play. That is a massive uptick from the old infrastructure law.
It is, but the focus has shifted. My thing is, they are trying to bring back the user pay principle to the Highway Trust Fund. You see, for the first time, we are looking at a federal registration fee for electric vehicles.
About time. Those silicon sleds have been chewing up my asphalt for free for years. What's the damage, Elena?
$130 for EVs, Buck. $35 for plug-in hybrids. It starts in 2029 and escalates every 2 years. They expected to pull in $10 billion.
Right. But the part my retail clients are actually talking about isn't the fee. It's the $750 million for truck parking.
$750? I mean, I'll believe it when I see the lines painted and the lights on. We've been begging for safe parking since I was double clutching an R-model Mac. Here's the deal. Drivers are still parking on ramps because the discretionary grants usually get eaten by beautification projects.
Look, the bill specifically codifies the Truck Parking Safety Improvement Act. It's a carve-out, Buck.
It's sort of a shut up and take the money moment for the industry, right? Plus $50 billion for bridges. That's the largest bridge investment in the history of the country.
If I may, it also takes a hard swing at cargo theft. It creates a national cargo theft task force. Given that we're seeing $18 billion in losses daily, as we discussed yesterday, this isn't just beautification. It's infrastructure defense.
Task forces and fees. I mean, okay, but we've still got bridges in Pennsylvania that look like Swiss cheese. Now, I suppose it's a start.
Speaking of starts, or rather stops, did you guys see what happened with Waymo in Atlanta?
The floodwater fumble? Oh, I saw it.
Exactly. One of their autonomous rigs got stranded in heavy flooding. No driver, just a very expensive sensor suite acting as a buoy.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You see, a silicon driver can't tell how deep a puddle is. I've seen it 1,000 times. A rookie thinks it's an inch, and suddenly he's got a wet floorboard. The tech just doesn't have the nose for it.
Look, Buck, it was an outlier weather event. But the timing was terrible. It happened right as Eagle Vision Security launched their IDR platform.
Intelligent damage reporting?
Yeah. Basically AI-powered high-res imaging. It scans trucks as they pull into a yard, detecting scratches, dents, structural issues before the driver even unbuckles.
I actually love this for my brokers. You know, the single pane of glass idea? No more he said, she said when a trailer comes back with a gash in the side.
Well, okay. But my thing is, who's checking the AI? If a camera misses a stress fracture in the kingpin plate and that trailer drops on the interstate, who's the Iron Lady going after then, Elena?
If the system is marketed as automated inspection, the liability likely shifts to the software provider or the carrier for over-relying on it. Actually, Eagle Vision says it's for proactive detection, not a total replacement for a walk-around. Complacency is the precursor to catastrophe, Buck.
Bottom line, the LMI, the Logistics Managers Index, hit 69.9 in April. Things are moving fast. Yield pressure is up. People are using agentic AI to handle the boring stuff so they don't have to hire more bodies.
But AI can't drive through a flood in Atlanta. Not yet, anyway.
Now it's time for The Big Board, our Friday segment where we track the heavyweights and the chess moves that define the global market.
And today, being Friday, May 22nd, we are looking at the literal robot revolution over at DHL.
Look, Jules, this is a capital moat play. DHL supply chain just announced they hit 8,000 active robots in their network. 8,000!
That is a significant scale.
Right? And Sally Miller, their CIO, was pretty blunt about it. She said it reduces dependency on labor. That's the quiet part out loud, isn't it?
It's the only play, Jules. While everyone else is fighting over cents per mile in the spot market, DHL is dumping €1 billion into physical automation. They just broke ground on a huge European battery logistics hub in the Netherlands.
That's a very specialized niche. EV battery logistics are a nightmare of hazmat compliance.
Exactly. That's the moat. You can't just be a guy with a truck and move lithium-ion cells for Volkswagen. You need the purpose-built facilities. They are turning their campus in Holtum into an e-mobility powerhouse.
It sort of mirrors what we're seeing with the big forwarders, too. CUNY and Nagel, K&N, they just did an efficiency correction.
That's a polite way of saying they are cutting 2,000 jobs.
Well, okay, yeah. But they are pushing everyone toward the MyKN digital platform. They're basically telling their mid-market customers, if you want to, quote, talk to the app. They're sacrificing the relationship to save the margin.
Look, K&N's C Logistics EBIT dropped 46%. They aren't firing people because they want to. They're firing them because the software is cheaper than a desk in Zurich. It's complexity arbitrage.
Complexity arbitrage. Is that what we're calling it now? I mean, when I started, if you couldn't look a man in the eye and give him a rate, you didn't have a business.
The world moved on, Buck. Even expediters, usually the most tight-lipped guys in the room, just filed an 8K talking about how customs entries require way more data than they did 2 years ago.
If I may, that's why DHL is launching a healthy sleep initiative for their workers.
Wait, what? They're checking if the drivers are napping?
Actually, they are using a wellness cloud to monitor the biological toll of high-pressure shifts. When you've got AI making routing decisions 24/7, the humans are the ones breaking down trying to keep up.
The big board? That's a wrap. Speaking of things breaking down, let's talk about the fuel situation. It's the triple threat week.
$5.64 a gallon. My retail accounts are absolutely melting down.
It's a crisis, Dan. I mean, for an owner-operator, that's a 62% jump from last year. If you're paying retail at the pump and your line haul rates are soft, you're done.
We are seeing capacity exits at a record pace this week.
Look, it's a bifurcated market. Contract rates are meh. But spot rates? They just hit a 24-month high because of the road check effect.
Right? People forget that CVSA road check was last week. Equipment posts on the boards fell 12% because everyone parked their trucks to avoid the DOT man.
You can't blame them. My thing is, when the DOT is out in force and diesel is $5.60, why would you go out there just to get a ticket for a frayed strap? and pay for the privilege.
According to DAT and FreightWaves, that artificial tightening is exactly why rates surged. It's a resilience test. But the long-term problem is the equipment itself.
4TR says trailer orders are up 100% year over year. People are panic buying before the 2027 emissions cliff.
Hey, before we get into the emissions cliff and Walmart's secret delivery depots, we need to take a quick second.
Right.
Strategic logistics requires world-class engineering. And honestly, this show wouldn't be what it is without the stack developed by Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. Support the architect behind the code, folks. Visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media for a free trial and access to our daily briefing PDF. It's the real deal.
No, it's good paper. I read it every morning.
All right, back to the play. Jules, you mentioned Walmart?
This is fascinating. Walmart revealed that 60% of their online orders are now arriving in 30 minutes or less.
30 minutes? How?
Quietly converting vacant retail spaces, like old Rite Aid or Walgreens pharmacies, into 20,000 square foot fulfillment hubs. They aren't open to the public. They're just dark stores for Spark drivers to zip in and out.
It's a brilliant last-mile pivot. They are cutting aisle congestion in the supercenters and beating Amazon at their own game.
So we've got tractor trailers backing into old drugstores and residential neighborhoods now? That sounds like a liability nightmare waiting for Elena's desk.
Actually, Buck, the zoning and duty of care for those sites is a massive question mark. But Walmart's sales rose 7%. They're willing to take the risk to get that 30-minute window.
Target's doing it too. They just hired Jeff England as their new supply chain chief. Guy came from Walmart and QXO. He's there to push speed and precision. It's a hyper-speed race now.
Okay, we have to talk about the rail revolution. Jim Vena over at Union Pacific just laid out the walkaway terms for the Norfolk Southern merger.
$85 billion. Now that is a monster of a railroad.
It would be the first true coast-to-coast transcontinental, Buck. But here's the kicker. Vena says if the STB, the Surface Transportation Board, demands more than $750 million in concessions, like forcing them to sell lines, they walk.
And if they walk, they are looking at a $2.5 billion breakup fee.
$2.5 billion? Just to say never mind?
Look, that's the stakes. CSX is already lobbying against it, saying it'll kill competition. But Vena's play is that this removes 2 million trucks from the highway.
Sure. Take the trucks off the road. I mean, you know what that really means? It means less work for the independents and more power for the big corporate rails that can't even keep a schedule. I don't like it.
Whether you like it or not, Buck, the legal reckoning is here. Did you see the Air France Airbus conviction?
For involuntary manslaughter? That was
Exactly.
huge.
Overturning a 2023 acquittal, the court didn't just blame the pilots or a censor. They blamed systemic operational failures in training and oversight.
Look, this is a cross-modal warning shot.
It is. If you're a carrier and you've got near-miss data that you're ignoring, or you aren't training your drivers for high-risk scenarios, this conviction sets the precedent for the corporate death penalty in trucking.
And don't forget Montgomery versus Caribe. The Supreme Court just ruled unanimously that brokers can be held liable for negligent hiring. C.H. Robinson is at the center of that storm.
I mean, honestly, it's about time. If you're a broker and you hire a fly-by-night outfit just because they're $50 cheaper and they kill someone, you should be on the hook.
Shippers and brokers are sweating, Buck. The broker shield is gone. Freight moves on handshakes, but the lawyers are checking the grip now.
It is the end of the outsourced safety era. You own your supply chain, or the courts will make you own it.
Yeah, well, it's a heavy note to end on, but it's the reality of the road. That's all for today's High Road Logistics and Leadership. The bottom line is, between 560 diesel and the Supreme Court taking aim at brokers, the Wild West is getting fenced in. Keep your eyes up and your logs clean.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.
Catch you on the flip side.